There's a moment in Project Zomboid that nobody really warns you about. It's not day one. Day one is obvious. You're panicking, you're figuring out the controls, you're fighting for your life. It's not even the first week. The first week has momentum. You're finding food, clearing houses, building something. There's always a next thing. The moment I'm talking about comes later. You've got a base, you've got supplies, you're safe, genuinely safe, for probably the first time in the whole run. And that's when a lot of people quietly stop playing. I want to talk about the mid-game. Not the beginning, not the endgame fantasy of a fortified compound, the part in between. A few days 10 through 30, maybe more or less depending, where Project Zomboid has historically become something most guides never really address. Because here's the thing, most survival game content lives at the extremes. Either it's how do I survive my first night, beginner stuff which is totally valid, or it's these incredible 100-day bases that look like something extraordinary. What gets skipped is the messy middle. The part where the initial adrenaline is gone, the stakes feel lower because you're not constantly on the edge of dying, and suddenly you're just managing, maintaining, existing. Now, Build 42 has done a lot of work here. The new mechanics genuinely flesh out this phase in ways the game never had before, and I want to be honest about that, but I don't think it fully solves it. So this video is my attempt to go wall by wall, what Build 42 changed, what it didn't, and what's still on you as a player. The first thing that gets you isn't danger, it's sameness. Early game, every run to a new area feels like a decision. You don't know what's in that house, you don't know if that street is clear, everything has weight. By day 15, you probably have a route. You know which houses have already been cleared, you know roughly what's left. The game hasn't changed, but your relationship with it has. And the problem isn't that routines, even good ones, erode presence. You stop actually playing and start going through the motions. You're half watching, half thinking about something else. And that's exactly when you get caught. Not by a horde, but by the one zombie you stop looking for because you've done this run 20 times. I know I've had this problem. Now, does B42 help here? Yes. The expanded map and the new POIs give you more reasons to break your patterns. There's more world to find, which means more novelty if you go looking for it. But it only works if you actually go. The routine trap is still a trap. Build 42 just gives you more doors out of it. Early game, you're scared of not having enough. That's the obvious version of resource anxiety, the one that's talked about. What nobody really mentions is what happens when you have too much. By the mid-game, a lot of players have more food than they can realistically eat before it spoils. More ammo than they'll ever probably use. The scarcity that made every decision feel meaningful has flipped into abundance, and it creates this weird paralysis. You stop going out because you don't need to. Everything you could want is already here. Does Build 42 help here? This is where I think it makes the biggest difference. The new crafting systems and mechanics give surplus resources somewhere to go. You're not just hoarding, you're converting, building, and progressing actual skills that change what you can do. That's a real fix for the abundance problem, because it turns excess into fuel instead of clutter. This wall is lower than it used to be. There's a version of this game where you become very good at it, and it creates a problem. Once you've internalized the mechanics, once you can reliably handle most situations the game throws at you, moment-to-moment danger stops feeling dangerous. And Project Zomboid without fear is a different game. It's not a bad game, don't get me wrong, but it's not the one you started playing. Now, does B42 help here? I'll say partially. All this new stuff means the game can surprise you for longer, yes, but skill is still skill. Once you've got the mechanics down, that competence gap opens up again eventually. The players who solve this long term are still the ones who manufacture their own stakes. Harder settings, self-imposed rules, going somewhere they have been avoiding, whatever. Build 42 buys you more time before you hit this wall. It doesn't remove it. Now this one is harder to talk about, but I think it's real. Long runs in Project Zomboid accumulate weight. Your character has a history. The base you built took weeks of in-game time. You remember the close calls, the things you lost, the decisions that almost ended everything. And at some point, that history becomes something you're protecting more than you're actually playing. You start making choices based on what you can't afford to lose, instead of what you want to do. It's a strange thing. The more invested you are in a run, the more conservative you become, And the more conservative you become, the slower the run dies. Not in a blaze of glory, just in a long, gradual fade of doing less and less until you eventually close the game one night and just don't open it again. Does B42 help here? Honestly, not much. This one isn't a systems problem, it's a psychology problem. No patch fixes the fear of losing something you've spent countless hours building. If anything, a richer mid-game means you have more time invested by the time this wall hits. Naming it is still the best tool I've found. When you notice you're playing scared instead of playing curious, something needs to change. Now PZ doesn't have an ending. There's no moment where the game tells you you've won. And for a lot of players, that's the last wall. You've built the base, you survived for a long time, you're comfortable. And you find yourself asking the question the game never answers for you. What am I actually working toward? Does B42 help here? Yeah, and this might be its biggest contribution to the mid-game. The new systems give you longer-term goals that you didn't know existed before. There's more to build toward, more to master, more reason to keep the run alive past the point where you previously have run out of road. But it still doesn't give you an ending, and I think that's right, because survival, real survival, not game survival, doesn't come with a finish line either. You just keep going, making the next decision, dealing with the next problem. The players who find the most in this game are the ones who make peace with that, who decide the goal isn't to win, but to keep finding things worth doing. B42 gives you more things worth doing. The choosing is still yours. So, does B42 fix the mid-game? Mostly. More than any updates before it, that's for sure. The resource loop, the crafting depth, the expanded world, these are real answers to real problems that have been in this game for a long time. But the walls that are hardest to climb aren't the ones the developers can patch. The routine trap, the weight of a long run, the question of what you're actually playing for, those are still yours to deal with. And I think that's what makes PZ worth talking about. It's one of the only games I've played where the hardest part isn't the mechanics, it's the decision, made quietly, on your own, to keep going. B42 gives you more reasons to make that decision. That's not nothing, it's actually a lot. But the decision is still yours. So, my fellow survivors, tell me where you tend to hit your wall. Drop it in the comments, I'll read all of them. And if you want more content from me, check out the main channel, links in the description. And I'll see you in the next one.